on behalf of the United Nations Secretary General, it is my pleasure to welcome all members of the Advisory Committee to the 33rd session. This session provides an important opportunity to discuss key issues and continue our collective efforts in addressing global challenges within the scope of our mandate. Distinguished members, as the President has highlighted, your last session has been held very recently, and hence my remarks today will try to be short, just to outline some of the developments within the United Nations that are relevant to the mandates that you are undertaking. At this session, the committee will advance its work on all 5 mandates and consider a revised draft study on the human rights implications of new and emerging technologies in the military domain, outlines of its studies on disinformation and human rights, and on technology-facilitated gender-based violence, and questionnaires to seek the views of and inputs from relevant stakeholders on the implications of plastic pollution for the full enjoyment of human rights and the impact of artificial intelligence systems on good governance. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the drafting groups, especially the rapporteurs, for their hard work and dedication. I look forward to your continued contribution to these important topics, and I also note that a number of panelists will address the committee on 3 of the ongoing mandates, bringing their unique knowledge and expertise to enrich the discussions on these important topics. Distinguished members, the President has provided you with an overview of the upcoming 58th session of the Council. In line with our established practice, I will highlight some developments, like I said. So, in relation to your study on the human rights implications of new and emerging technologies in the military domain, I would like to bring to your attention that in his remarks of 19 December last year to the Security Council meeting on artificial intelligence and the maintenance of international peace and security, the United Nations Secretary General highlighted AI's transformative potential, but also its risks to global peace and security. He noted that AI's expansion into security systems raises fundamental concerns about human rights, dignity, and the rule of law. He expressed concerns at the erosion of human control over the use of force and the potential for AI-enabled cyber attacks and AI's integration with nuclear weapons. The Secretary General stressed that humans must always retain control over decision-making functions, guided by international law, including international humanitarian and human rights law and ethical principles. He also reiterated his call for banning lethal autonomous weapons, highlighting that no country should design, develop, deploy, or use military applications of AI in armed conflict that violate international law, humanitarian law, and human rights. It's also worth noting that the UN General Assembly adopted on 24 December last year its resolution entitled Artificial Intelligence in the Military Domain and its Implications for International Peace and Security. Inter alia, this resolution requested the Secretary General to seek the views of member states and observer states on the opportunities and challenges posed to international peace and security by the application of AI in the military domain, and to submit a substantive report summarizing those views and cataloging existing and emerging normative proposals to the General Assembly at its 80th session to be held this fall. In connection with his mandate, I would also like to outline that the UN Institute for Disarmament Research, UNIDIR, is launching a global conference on AI, security, and ethics to be held annually to consider and address the complex implications of AI for national, regional, and global security and resilience. The inaugural conference in 2025 will take place in Geneva on March 27 and 28 this year. Further, at the AI Action Summit 2025 held in Paris on 11 February, the UN Secretary General called for shaping AI for all humanity and recalled that the Global Digital Compact adopted at the Summit of the Future established the first universal agreement on the governance of AI and mandated the establishment of an independent international scientific panel on AI that will promote a common understanding of AI risks, benefits, opportunities, and capabilities, and help bridge knowledge gaps. Now, turning to the study on technology-facilitated gender-based violence, I would like to highlight the adoption by the General Assembly, also in December last year, of the UN Convention Against Cybercrime, a global treaty aimed at strengthening international cooperation to combat cybercrime and protecting societies from digital threats. The Convention is the first global treaty to specifically address sexual violence against children committed with information and communication technologies. Distinguished members, on 15 January, the Secretary General briefed the General Assembly and outlined his priorities for this year. Many aspects that he highlighted are closely related to the mandates of this committee. The Secretary General stated that 2025 has critical opportunities to achieve breakthroughs on the Sustainable Development Goals. He also recalled that the Pact of the Future called for all countries to achieve full gender equality, including by targeted and accelerated action to end all forms of violence and harassment against women and girls, including sexual and gender-based violence. The Secretary General also warned that technology was also raiding out of Pandora's box and that the technological revolution demanded careful stewardship. Distinguished members, the focus of the United Nations on these issues should be underpinned by evidence-based research on all relevant aspects, followed by practical recommendations. The contribution of the Advisory Committee to these complex challenges, which require priority and sustained actions, represents an essential effort towards advancing comprehensive solutions with a human rights-based approach, playing a key role in shaping these solutions. Before I conclude, please allow me a brief aside. Last year has been particularly challenging, as you know, for the United Nations in terms of the availability of resources. In addition to the chronic resource constraints, the liquidity crisis has hampered and continues to impede the planning and implementation of your activities and the Office activities. Let me assure you that the Office is doing its utmost to ensure that the Committee receives the support that it needs and can implement its mandate. Nevertheless, all indications point to a continuation of the difficult liquidity crisis for the foreseeable future. So we will do our best to ensure the continuation of your activities as they have been planned. So let me conclude here by assuring you of the Secretariat's full support for your activities, while I take this opportunity to also thank the Secretariat team that has planned this session and will support you during this week. And I wish you a very fruitful session. Thank you very much.